Money in the Bank. OMG. Most Money in the Bank is now the Raw Women's Champion. John Cena is back. And Goldberg is facing Bobby Lashley. Welcome, everybody, to the latest episode of the Chop Shop. Here to talk about all the latest goings and happenings in the WWE. There is a lot, trust me. Introducing first from Luton, United Kingdom, Luke. Walsh, bada bing, bada boom. Introducing next, Orlando Orega. And
hey, everybody.
Introducing your Bucker Bomb Entertainment Trivia Champion of the World, Daniel McKee. Gentlemen, what's just happening in WWE? It's like we're back to normal again.
I don't know about that. I mean, the fans are back, but I mean, some interesting stuff is happening. I like, some story beats are progressing. I like. There's still some questionable things that are happening that I just kind of like.
It wouldn't be WWE if there wasn't questionable things happening, but I do feel like there is a sincere effort happening right now for the first time, and I don't even know how long. So I want to find the positive in it more than the negative, and by negative I mean Goldberg's back. But other than that, everything, they're trying. They're trying.
Yeah.
Well, where to start with the last 48 hours of WWE programming than Money in the Bank inside Fort Worth in Texas? My goodness gracious me, John Cena is back, and he's back to take on Roman Reigns. Orlando, I'm going to come to you first. Did you pop hard?
No, I honestly didn't. See, here's the thing. Is it's like if you grew up with John Cena, you are either for John Cena or you're against John Cena. I was always against John Cena. I did not care who he faced. I always wanted somebody else to win. So I'm still going to be against John Cena. I don't care how old I am. I don't care how long I haven't seen him. I'm still going to be against John Cena. I don't hate the guy. I have mad respect for him for what he has done, with kids and everything and merchandise and all that. But I'm not a John Cena fan. I'm happy that he's back. I didn't pop hard. I was like, oh, he's back. Yay. Hopefully he loses to Roman Reigns to at least help Roman Reigns and actually help WWE, in the product. So, but.
Well, this is the thing, and I'll pass it to Daniel, is that we knew for weeks and weeks and weeks on end, even when John Cena was doing the press tour for Fast and Furious 9, that he was coming. We knew that it was almost certainty that he was taking on Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. But I don't know about you, Daniel, but after the main event of Edge against Roman Reigns, which was such a roller coaster of near falls and interferences, and that moment right at the end where Roman Reigns is standing there with Paul Heyman, acknowledged me, and then that pop, that moment, it was like pastors knew. It was like being back as a wrestling fan pre-COVID. It was a moment that we're going to talk about for the next 5 or 10 years.
Of course.
I don't know of a better way to describe it, and I hate to make it so trivial, but the first time you smoke weed when if you're 15 or 16 years old, and the first time it's so strange. It's like it was like that same feeling of the first time that I really enjoyed wrestling again, from when I was 10 years old, and when I was really into Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart. I mean, it was like, it's very interesting to feel that way, especially when it comes to WWE, because it's just I've come to expect so little from them, unfortunately, and I don't mean that in terms of NXT, but I mean the main roster has been kind of disappointing. SmackDown's been okay, but it was really great to see like a full-on Raw crowd happy, and storylines that are, I mean, at least it's way better than what we've been getting, basically. And everything between Money in the Bank to what we saw last night on Raw, but especially the very end of Raw, which if you told me that was going to happen a year ago, I would have told you that you're crazy. So I think that's pretty cool. I don't know. I'm also really skeptical and feel like I'm going to be horribly disappointed next week. With John Cena, I'm not sure if I like the way he came back, but he's back. He's very positive for the product, I guess. Whether you like him or hate him.
Two moments stood out for me, even after the fact, and even seeing the clips over and over again. The first moment was having John Cena come out and give a promo to the crowd after the pay-per-view went off air and said, you're used to booing me and telling me that I suck, and now you're cheering for me. It's like we're back to normal. Like that, having him of all people acknowledge that was just extraordinary. It was just. It was a special moment, and then obviously what's come out since is, it is. I don't know whether you two have seen it. Is that picture of two signs of 15 years apart? The one from ECW One Night Stand 2006, there, if Cena wins, we riot, and the one from Sunday, if Cena comes back, we cheer. Like, who'd have thought in 2021 that John Cena would be welcomed with open arms in the way that he did? It was truly special.
Yeah, I was very shocked with that. I was just like, these people are cheering. I don't hear Cena such chants, which even he brought it up because like he did like a little like post promo like speaking to the crowd. He's like, so weird that you guys are cheering. All of you are cheering for me. I'll hear
He said
nobody saying Cena
Bizarro
such.
World. Of all the references, he said Bizarro World.
It is. You know what it is? I think it's just like it's been like over 2 years that we haven't seen The Rock, seen John Cena. So I'm thinking that's probably why the crowd, and like you,
Are you counting the Firefly Funhouse match in there? Does that
no,
count?
not really, no, not really, because I don't think
It has
he
to
didn't have a
count.
match. I
we talk about this so much and whether or not all of the cinematic stuff, especially what happened during the COVID era, whether that actually counts or not. I think it counts. That's why I thought it was weird the way he came back, but I understand it's WWE. They're very good at going, that never happened. Don't worry about that. You see, look over here.
right,
Look at the nice shiny ball. It never
yeah.
happened.
Look at the green and yellow that now Cena's rocking right now. Here he is, yay! Look.
I do think
I
it's
mean,
interesting though that he's facing Roman Reigns, and imagine those exact same words coming out of Roman's mouth. Because now what everyone's saying is that he's the best thing happening on the main roster. 5 years ago, not not the same tune.
oh
So I
no,
think that's interesting.
the promos are going to be amazing between Roman and Cena. I can just hear it now. He's going to now call out Cena. Roman's going to call out Cena, be like, "Oh, now you want to be the part timer now? Look at you going to Hollywood."
Ooh, I like it.
Oh, yeah. He's gonna call him such a hypocrite. I could just see Paul Heyman already thinking of all the promos that he could write for Roman to say, and now Roman can actually say them and not stumble upon them. Remember a few years ago, he stumbled upon his words, So
Right.
I'm just happy right now. So because
And
like I know for a fact this is gonna help Roman so much more, to establish himself as a big star for WWE.
I mean, think about the impact that Paul Heyman can have if he really starts talking again like he used to for Brock. Because I mean, he's been fairly reserved with how often he uses his words, and he's a master of words. So I mean, there's all the potential in the world for this to be fantastic if you do it right.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, look, at the end of the day, the last time these two went one-on-one, of course, No Mercy 2017, and the promos they threw at each other was insane for the time. And of course, John Cena even took a shot at Jimmy Uso. Oh, isn't that now relevant in 2021?
Ooh.
But to where those two characters are at now, one would argue the way that Cena and Roman are going into this match is very Rock Austin-esque in the way that they've both sort of gone down two different paths. One is the 16 going for the 17-time world champion, and Roman Reigns is on the form of his life, and they're going to clash heads at SummerSlam, arguably WrestleMania for the year because of the magnitude of how they're going to build it at the Allegiant Stadium on the 21st of August. So it's going to be interesting, and the promos are going to be insane. So we'll have to take 1 week at a time, see one step at a time as we build to SummerSlam and what will happen. But we've got to deconstruct what else we've learned over the last 48 hours from Money in the Bank. But we've got to start with the women's Money in the Bank match. I mean, a result that none of us really saw coming. Nikki A.S.H not only won Miss Money in the Bank, she's now the Raw Women's Champion after cashing in last night on Monday Night Raw.
Yes.
Wow. Just wow. Orlando, you and I did the predictions on Sunday evening, and none of us gave Nikki A.S.H a chance. As much as we, in our hearts, we've been hoping that Nikki Cross could have a push because she's always been the bridesmaid and never the bride. And now she's got the title on her. First title she's ever had.
Yep. You know something, because I was going through social media like last night and today, and everybody says so many positive things about Nikki Cross. Like, let's just talk about it. First, she created this gimmick where it was like an almost superhero, and she's dressing up like a superhero and giving these like positive type of promos and stuff. So to me, I felt like that Vince gave her the ball, actually literally gave her the ball, and now he's like, go ahead now, run with it, which I'm very happy. Everybody is really appreciative. I think she could do well. Like, I'm hoping it's not going to be a transitional type of championship, but I mean, it's just like, where can you go from here? Which I would love for her to retain, and continue on as that, you know, being an inspiration for all the kids and stuff, because I know a lot of kids are going to be dressing up as her.
I have questions about how they're going to like fit this in with Alexa Bliss somehow, former best friends, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of different directions you can go, but think about how many people we watch from NXT, like your Ricochets, your Cedric Alexanders, your Keith Lees that you kept waiting for someone to push the button on them and go. They come to creative, they have an idea, and now they're a champion. Like, how often does that happen?
Let's park NXT to one side, because trust me, there's a lot more still to come in this podcast to talk about NXT. That is certainly for sure. But I do want to bring your attention to a tweet that Big Damo, Killian Dane, said about, of course, his wife, Nikki A.S.H. He said, it wasn't working, but you didn't cry, didn't get salty online, didn't hate on your peers' success. Instead, you worked crazy hard in the gym and you worked crazy hard in the ring. You went above and beyond to get this pitch right, and you nailed it. You finished this day a WWE champion. I mean, it's just a testament as to how hard and consistent. And, I even said it on Sunday that it's a lot of people wrote Nikki Cross off and Nikki A.S.H off because she just wasn't doing much. She was bubbling away on social media about how hard she's working, and just booking was not on her favor. And now she is the Raw Women's Champion at a time where it was getting stale between Charlotte and Rhea. Who's to say that, could Nikki even be a transitional champion for Charlotte to get it back off her? Let's hope not. But, it's always the threat that it could happen. But it's a breath of fresh air. Nikki A.S.H is the champion. And, the reports this morning coming out that it's a way to reward her and praise her from backstage. Vince McMahon is very pleased with her efforts. It's a fresh wave to bring in new audiences. Of course, the merchandise ideas are endless. And this is huge. And I'm nothing but delighted that she was the one who against all odds came up on top.
And you also have to see, like, she also shares like a lot of the fans' artwork. Like, there's literally beautiful artwork of her new gimmick and stuff. It's so amazing just to see. Like, I'm very happy for her. I'm hoping she has a little bit of a longer reign. I have a feeling that Alexa will probably be on her side. I don't think she's going to be a foe. I mean, unless if they want to do that, maybe like later on the line, maybe next year or something, to actually make her, she's the superhero versus the super villain, because, she's like a little jealous of her or something like that. I mean, they could do that. I mean, and I don't know, like there's like a lot of directions they could go for it. I'm hoping for it. So we'll see what they do. So
I always wonder why they never pulled the trigger on making her sister Abigail somehow. So I mean, there's tons of potential there.
Well,
I mean, a lot of people have had it reserved for Alexa Bliss, so to include Nikki Cross would have been odd. And there was so much, even between the Bliss Cross applesauce tag team that we saw in 2020, that they could have run with it a bit more. But this is a singles run. This is a time to shine, and all credit to her. I just want to bring your attention to the finishing spot. All six were on the ladder, and then just all of a sudden, Nikki A.S.H goes up and grabs it. Were you happy with that finish? It certainly came out of nowhere.
I mean, it's different. I mean, it's just the thing was is just that the women's ladder match was a little underwhelming. Like they wanted them to do really amazing spots, and I think they were creative with their spots for certain things, but it wasn't like made the crowd go ooh ah like kind of that type of way, you know. So it's just like it was the weaker of the match for the whole pay per view for me, in my opinion. But
I think anytime you can get a surprise out of somebody when it comes to a ladder match, I think it's a good thing. I think everyone's been incredibly creative with ladder matches recently, especially down in, I wouldn't say down, over in NXT. We've seen some really cool spots, I think, in the last couple of years. So especially if you can get any kind of finish that you really didn't see coming in a ladder match for more than 10 seconds right before it happened, I think that's cool. I think it's great.
hmm
I love Nikki
yeah,
A.S.H, Cross, whatever you want to call her.
yep.
Indeed, that is certainly one achievement. And then, of course, on the men's side, Big E is now Mr. Money in the Bank. Wow,
So happy
just
about that.
amazing. Like as we teased on the podcast on Sunday evening, and we've been saying for too long, his time was coming. He was hot favorite to win the Royal Rumble. He had the Intercontinental title on Christmas Day. He has had all the momentum in the world, and finally, in front of the fans, he got the briefcase. And the ideas that are now swirling around. We'll talk about Goldberg in just a second, but the potential of Lashley against Big E is genuinely intriguing.
Oh no, it's happening. I can just feel it because the rumor of him going to Raw, uh, what Lashley did to Kofi. I mean, come on now. Now that he has the briefcase, he could easily cash in on Lashley any moment. I mean, hell, he could probably cash in on SummerSlam, and then he could become the WWE champion. You know, I mean, and then Biggie wants a match with Goldberg. So I mean, technically, if you want to do it, you could have Goldberg lose in a DQ finish. Biggie comes in, he steals the title from Lashley, then you set up Goldberg versus Big E, and then Lashley attack. I mean, it's like you could do that.
It seems to me that Goldberg's very intent on actually putting people over, even if it happens, kind of down the line by the way of him, having to beat someone else and then losing to another person. So what if Lashley beats Goldberg and then we get Big E versus Lashley? That makes him look even huger. He beat the guy that beat Goldberg. I you know I'm not a Goldberg fan. I never have been. But if we are going to use all that hype to actually put people over, I'm all about it.
I'm hoping that Goldberg knows what he's doing here. That he knows for a fact this is bigger than me. It's for the company, where he could put over Lashley because I need this to be a squash. I need Lashley to dominate because I have a feeling that Vince probably promised Lashley next year you will get Brock Lesnar. So I'm gonna do all my efforts so that way you can get Lesnar.
Mm. I mean,
You know,
I certainly one solution to the whole problem is that if you want to really get the most out of it, is to obviously have Goldberg beat Bobby Lashley at SummerSlam, only for then Big E to then beat Goldberg on the same night and cash in and have two title changes back to back. So there's all manner of possibilities of what could happen and when Big E might pull the trigger. But the point is, out of the options we're presented, the fact that they have gone with their gut and stuck with Big E is such a huge recognition. And anyone who has seen the WWE 24 documentary will know that Big E has grinded and grinded to the top, and now is his time where he can be coronated the new WWE or maybe Universal Champion. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, they could leave it where he will, get the Universal title whenever he's ready to do it to Roman Reigns. I mean, he could do that as well. It's just depending on where they want to go now. They have some options, which I like that there's some options. One option I don't want them to try to do is give Goldberg the belt. He don't need it. He don't need it. He does not need it. I'm just saying. Ugh.
My soul doesn't need it either.
No, nobody wants it. That's the thing. Everybody cringed when they saw Goldberg come out. They're like, oh. I mean, but you heard that pop, though. I mean, he's still a draw, though. Like, people still love Goldberg in a sense. So, I don't know.
He'll never not be a draw. Let's face it.
Hmm.
It remains to be seen what happens here, but hey, Big E has a briefcase. Let's see how it goes. Certainly for sure. So a couple other results I want to pull out from Money in the Bank, of course, on the pre. So the Usos are the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions after a good.
Just get a DUI and then you get rewarded with a title. Yeah, just anybody listening becoming a wrestler, just get a DUI and then you'll get rewarded with a title.
Hey, to be fair, you have to get several DUIs.
Oh, there you go, sir. So there you go.
I mean, we'll have to find out on Friday whether Roman Reigns is in Miami or Cleveland. The visual.
No, he's going to be in Cleveland. He's going to be in Cleveland. No, come on now.
Seeing the three of them hold all the relevant gold, I guess. If you want to ignore that the Intercontinental title is just as important, but I will put that to one side for sure. AJ Styles and Omos retained the Raw Tag Team Championships with a good win over the Viking Raiders. The shortest match of the night, we'll come on to Goldberg again in a second. Bobby Lashley beating Kofi Kingston in about 5 or 6 minutes.
Which was pure domination of Bobby Lashley, which is, it worked its purpose because Bobby Lashley said on Raw before the pay-per-view, no more bullshit, time to dominate. And he showed that with this match. People did not have an issue with it. I mean, they have an issue because it was Kofi, but they did not have an issue with the match itself. So I understood because it was a story sense and what they're trying to do with Bobby Lashley, for me, in my opinion.
I think it all sets up really nice story for Becky to eventually have the title and then for him to face Kofi. And we could do that for a long time. There's a lot to unpack there if we want to go down that route. It'll take us a while to get there, but I mean, that's an awesome possibility of maybe something to happen around Royal Rumble next year or something like that, or even WrestleMania, Kofi versus Big E. Can you imagine how amazing that would be?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do sort of feel sorry for him though, for the fact that it happened to him, of course, on the debut episode of SmackDown on Fox. He lost to Brock Lesnar in 8 seconds, and now he's been squashed again by Bobby Lashley in a WWE title match. It's that Kofi Kingston is such a incredible athlete, and again, Kofi Mania in 2019 was history in the making. So the fact that they've kind of squashed him twice now worries me a little bit. But as you pointed out, Daniel, is that now that they have got Biggie with that device pull of Mr. Money in the Bank, that the redemption is there, and certainly, considering how close the three of them are, it will feel like the three of them are joint WWE champions. Let's face it, and it's going to be one hell of a pop when
I can see that
cashes in. That is certainly for sure. I think one other point I will drag out. Let's talk about the main event of Money in the Bank. We've already spoken about.
Whoa. Hold on. Let's just get to the Charlotte Rhea match because I have to say, just say Becky's name to Charlotte and she gets pissed off and she gives you a 5-star match.
She flipped the bird. I mean, although to be fair, if Peacock wasn't glitchy enough, the fact that Charlotte was flipping the bird on top of that. Oh,
I was so mad. Oh my God. Peacock can suck my dick. Sorry, excuse my language, but it was so annoying. It's just like that's how much I miss WWE Network.
I've heard you sound the entire time I've known you.
But no, it was just like it was so bad with the whole Peacock glitching and stuff. It's just like ugh. I hated it.
Wouldn't know the WWE network to be an issue over here. Wouldn't know it.
Of course not. Of course not. Yeah.
It's funny too because for all the problems anyone's ever had with the WWE network, as soon as you give it to one of the top two leading television franchises in North America, suddenly we have a lot of problems. Like what is going on with that? Like how is that actually a problem? I don't understand.
Exactly. And Universal, that's a multi-billion-dollar company, because of like three different like movie franchises, and of course, like a cable company. They're gonna fuck up like that. I just ugh. Anyways, but back to Charlotte versus Rhea. I love that match. I thought it was match of the night. You know, for me, I'm saying for me. I know maybe some of you may say like the Money in the Bank ladder match is the match of the night, but for me, I really love the match because they really worked the crowd and got the crowd invested into their match, even though they were getting like "We want Becky" chants, which made me laugh. It made me laugh so hard. She's like, "Oh, you got pins," and then she started working everybody.
Yeah, I think as I said it in the previous show on Sunday night, is that Charlotte against Rhea is very samey. That the fact that they did turn on her, and the result was quietly inevitable that Charlotte would come out on top, of course, with the figure eight. Just goes to show that as much as Rhea Ripley is exceptionally talented, and on a different brand on a different day, Rhea Ripley would be champion for over a year because of how good she is. Is that when you're up against Charlotte Flair in a main pay-per-view, 9 times out of 10 you're losing that belt.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know.
I think they have
Just
enough
like
chemistry that where
yeah,
you
no,
can.
they do have. The problem was is just that people were not invested with the story. So I mean, they had an easy story. They could have
I mean,
talked
what
about
story? Oh, you've got a sore leg. Well, I've got a sore leg. Oh, we're gonna do crutches like we're 6-year-olds.
exactly. No, but like they could have easily brought up WrestleMania, like, and then that could have explained their like shenanigans they were trying to do. It's just
Well,
like bring them back,
never.
But of course, Vince McMahon thinks like everybody has short-term memory, or they're not going to remember. It's like, come on, we're not that old like you, or you don't want us to remember. Come on now, everybody
Well,
remembers Katie
he
Vick,
showed us that at the very beginning of the show with John Cena. I mean,
of course.
you don't see anything. Never happened.
Never
It's
happened.
not real.
I am going to move straight on to the main event and talk about the drama that unfolded over half an hour between Roman Reigns and Edge for the title. I mean, a lot of people say it sucked because it's formulaic for Roman Reigns to start off slow and really drag it out. But I think I'm going to argue this first, and Daniel, you can have first comment on this. This was insane as to how close we nearly got to Edge actually taking the Universal title off Roman Reigns.
I mean, this felt you don't often get New Japan feels with a WWE match, and not that this match was necessarily like that, but there were some moments where I was sitting there going like, "Wow, this is really a long, epic, actual banger of a match that both of these guys are very much capable of putting on." It was really nice to actually feel like maybe like more than once, and it proves how talented Edge really is.
Even seeing Charles Robinson officiate the match is like, well, this all brings back to the Undertaker against Edge in WrestleMania 24.
Charles Robinson is an American treasure. But
Of course.
just want to state on record.
No.
God bless little Nate. Never forget that. The fact that there were so many near falls, and obviously what then developed was seeing Seth Rollins come out and officially book the match against himself and Edge. People are saying it's going to be number one contender on the line. I'm still not fully sold on Seth Rollins Edge. Orlando, you I think you've disagreed on me on this. Do you think
Well,
it's worthwhile to book these two in a match?
I think so. And plus, they brought back, like, even Edge said it on like a SmackDown. It was like, oh, you haven't changed since I last saw you, which was what, 6 years ago?
Mm.
So he still has some gripe with Seth Rollins since that time, which makes sense. So I mean, like, if they allow Edge to write the story, I mean, like, let him like pitch the story between him and Seth. I think it would be good. So we'll see. But all in all, I love the main event. I loved it. I mean, a lot of people complained because it was like overbooked and it was like, oh, there's a lot of shenanigans, but I didn't mind it. It was good for what it was.
It was the twists and turns, wasn't it? It was
Of course.
the Usos came out, but then the Mysterios came out after them, and then Seth
Hmm.
Rollins came in, and then he beat them away, and then obviously Edge getting the visual win, and there was no referee because of the ref bump. It was the twists and turns that made us think, well, hang on a second, it could plausibly happen. It could turn and turn and turn and turn again, and I was certainly on the edge of my seat at 4 a.m. That certainly is a testament to show how much of a good fight it was.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And plus, you know what? I don't think it would have been too bad if they gave Edge the belt, in my opinion. You know, and then like I mean, like I think it would make sense. Because he had never retired. I mean, he retired as the champion, so it would be nice for him to regain it. I mean, that's my opinion. I don't know, but we'll
Daniel,
see.
I'm gonna get your thoughts on this. Obviously, whilst you're having your beautiful hair washed, for audio listeners, you're not getting the
Oh yeah,
visual treat that
yeah,
we get to see
yeah.
of,
Sorry for our
of
YouTube
our trivia
viewers that are
champion
watching this.
having the full beauty treatment live on a podcast. I mean, there's dedication to doing a podcast, and then there's this level of commitment that Daniel is showing. So all credit to you, sir.
Hey, I'm doing my best. I'm actually trying to keep my volume off because I'm getting the rinse right now. As our people watching this.
Well, whilst you have your rins, I'm going to move on to Monday Night Raw, and a lot of people compared it to a Raw after Mania. It had the pops and the returns and the debuts, like it felt like it was just party atmosphere from the word go. Seeing John Cena obviously confirmed that his match with Roman Reigns. In the promo, he said it's not because he's bigging up SummerSlam. It's not because of world title number 17. It's because Roman Reigns is an arsehole. I mean, that moment, it was just so magnifique.
I mean, but did you hear that line that he said? He said that he's an asshole. What did The Rock say to Cena when he came back? He's like, I have respect for what you have done. I just don't like you. So it's parallels. I'm telling you, there's parallels.
Not talking about Rock just yet. We'll talk about
Oh
Rock.
no, The Rock is coming. I'm telling you, The Rock is coming.
He's we're not going to be speculating about The Rock coming back to WWE when he's on a press tour for the Jungle Cruise, are we? We're not going to watch every interview and wait for the words. Oh, Rock! So your cousin Roman? Yeah, you going to fight him? Yeah, we'll say that for another day. And yeah, so he said he announced he got to bring him down a peg or two, which obviously is just a huge moment for John Cena of all people to point that out. And then Matt Riddle said the word bro with him. Oh, that was a cool moment.
They had a bro language. They were like, bro.
Oh, that was cool.
I was like, oh Lord. Listen, look, whatever you could say about Riddle is over right now. He is like, the crowd is into him. Vince loves him, it seems like. And look at all the segments he's done. Look, he has like segments with Randy. He's getting a lot of segments in Raw. Look, he had like a little interaction with John Cena. So, I mean,
you love to see it. You love to see it. And, there's no reason to say he couldn't go for US title glory in the not too distant future. That is certainly an almost a lock-in. A debut that none of us expected on Monday Night Raw. The NXT champion, Karrion Kross, loses to Jeff Hardy in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Unbelievable.
I mean, what do you think is worse treatment? The way that they treated Walter or the way that they're treated Karrion Kross?
At least Walter had like a fighting chance, and then he got double team. I think it was.
I mean,
I
it's so incredibly
I mean,
disappointing.
Excuse me, gentlemen, for a second, but I think we all see the writing on the wall.
well, you know
Writing
what? I'm
on
happy
the
that
wall.
his music came back. You know,
Time
I'm
is
happy.
gone, and no more words. It's trying. I mean, Jeff Hardy with his old theme will never not be a pop in my book, but certainly from the crowd reaction in the live arena, not many people were really buying it, which is such a terrible thing to see. Maybe it was just too casual for the night for them to really pop for Karrion Kross, but I don't know. WWE fans are complicated sometimes.
Yeah, but no, you know what? A lot of people do kind of make points. It's just like why you're gonna have him go to debut on Raw and have him lose as he is the champion. Regardless of how you feel about Karrion Kross as a wrestler, he's still the champ for a brand of yours. Which I'm thinking, like, look, Vince McMahon just hates NXT. Honestly, I think he hates the fact that everybody talks more about NXT and the call ups and everything. He just hates it. You know. I mean, like, that's probably why, like, sometimes you don't really see the interaction between Triple H and Vince when it comes to creative. You know, they always clash. You know, and it's just like he's probably getting frustrated with Vince as well. I, I don't know.
Of course, all the reports are saying this morning that this is a direct attack from Vince McMahon on NXT. The fact that they are booking the champion in this way, and I think it's not too big of a secret that there is a divide between what Triple H books on NXT to what Vince McMahon wants on the main roster, and it's sort of sad that there's no coalition between the two that will keep a champion strong. And even the history books will tell us, hello Asuka, hello Shinsuke Nakamura, hello Sami Zayn, where they've gone from being phenomenal on NXT, and the minute on the main roster, they're like a different personality altogether.
You know who's the only successful person that had the right call up? Is Kevin Owens. Think about his run when he came into NXT, he became the champ, and then he faced John Cena, and that little show off that like their face off that they had. You know, everything that he did right there. That is kind of almost the way you could have an NXT call up, show up on the main roster, Raw, SmackDown, and then call out somebody that's very well known. You know, so I mean, it's just like that's the only person I can think of, in my opinion. And
It's a tricky argument because obviously over the years we've had, of course, Sami Zayn's caught up in the US Open Challenge, being introduced by Bret Hart of all people. That was a pretty special moment. I mean, even seeing Keith Lee come up, even though they took a couple of shots at it with a new entrance and new gear, we got there in the end, which we'll come on to Keith Lee in just a second. It's a tricky one, and we almost feared that what's going to happen next, certainly with people like Johnny Gargano, Adam Cole, those kind of figures, whereby they're gold. They are literally worth their weight in gold. So when they come up to the main roster, if they do decide to pull the trigger, it's where do you put them? What do you do with the Undisputed? What do you do with Adam Cole? What do you do with Tommaso Ciampa? Yeah, and where they are show stealing human beings, and then when you put on the main roster, it'll be dangerous.
Yeah, and also like to your point about like it was like a shot of Vince McMahon to NXT because like somebody brought it up on a podcast that I listened to recently earlier today. They said their ratings are not going up. They couldn't defeat AEW in the ratings, and they're not really establishing kind of almost new stars for Vince McMahon to use. So that's probably why Vince McMahon is burying them in a sense because like he gave him Vince McMahon gave him a reward on beating Raw and SmackDown in 2019, and what have they done since then? I mean, they've been creating some great matches and great moments and stuff, but
Mm.
Vince McMahon, I was hoping that they could do a lot more than just that.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
certainly for sure. Let's talk Keith Lee. Keith Lee is finally back after
Yes.
weeks and weeks and weeks of being away from television. A lot of people speculated what was going to happen with him, but the fact that he came back to face Bobby Lashley, although in a losing effort, he's still good. He's still Keith
Yeah.
Lee. Don't you
hmm
ever forget about Keith. No, no,
hmm
no, no.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and for our audio listeners, Daniel, it looks like he's washing his hair or something, so he's not on right now. So sorry about that. So
Orlando,
yeah,
you meant
so
to keep Fabe. You meant to keep the secrets of the business.
sorry, but they're just gonna wonder like, where is he? Like, whatever, Anyways,
We killed him.
uh, so yeah, for me, I'm very happy that Keith Lee's back. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I didn't like the match they had with Bobby Lashley. I was hoping like maybe a double count out because I feel like that would be a great next challenger for Bobby Lashley, like
Mm.
a one-on-one match. But I'm very happy to see him back. Hopefully, he'll probably explain himself as to what happened because they're saying that it was out of creative's hands because it was something medical that it was what was wrong with him. So it was nothing to do with creative. It's more of his physical well-being. Hopefully, he's a lot better.
Mm.
So I'm just happy that he's back.
And I feel like I repeat myself a lot here, but where does Keith Lee fit in now? Because obviously now that the segment straight after saw Goldberg come storming out and saying I'm next. Well, where does that leave Keith Lee? Where does that leave somebody who is tantalizingly close to gold? Be that whether they put the main or the US title on him, is that he's got the talent, he's got the fan support for him.
hmm
It's just that he's in the right place at the wrong time.
Well, no, I mean, like they could easily what they could do is just have Sheamus face Damian Priest because
Mm.
they're kind of already setting that up because they already have that set, and then like Sheamus retains, and then you have a match between him and Keith Lee, and then Keith Lee wins the title. I mean, it's simple as that. I mean, they could easily do that. I
They
mean,
could, and
Keith Lee
so
just needs to rebuild himself again. Just have him have a lot of wins. Show the fans that he's still there. He's still back. Get him into a winning streak, and then like when after SummerSlam, the next pay-per-view, have him win the U.S. title, and then boom, he's back on top.
here's a pitch: WrestleMania 38, Dallas, Big E versus Keith Lee, WWE Championship.
Oh, of course, I could see that. I could see that. I could also see like Keith Lee versus Roman Reigns because like they've been talking about that as well. You
Mm.
know, So I mean, they could easily have him win the Rumble. I mean, if they can't lock The Rock, then they could easily just have Roman Reigns have like a normal main event match with somebody, and I think Keith Lee would probably be that guy.
Mm. Second to that, I think Keith Lee should win the Rumble. I think certainly it may have it may have fallen out of his hands that certainly he didn't win this year or even the year before, but certainly next year. Now that Edge has had his moment, now that Drew McIntyre won it the year before, is that all lines suggest that there's no reason why he shouldn't win, as so long as they keep him strong enough between now and then.
Of course. Look, I just see good things. It's just right now, Keith Lee just needed to get back in front of fans to show that he is still there, and then like get him in a winning streak, get him a secondary title, the U.S. title, and then like get the ball rolling with him.
Mm.
I just I'm just having little hopes for it. I mean, I understand that he lost to the champ, but come on now, like. But for me, Bobby Lashley right now needs to be strong. So I know people were disappointed that Keith lost, but for me, I'm seeing the story narrative of what it is.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's certainly true indeed. Let's come just quickly. Obviously, we mentioned it earlier that Nikki Cross is now the Raw Women's Champion with a cash in on Monday Night Raw. Certainly that pop certainly up there with the Dolph Ziggler moment of 2013. I mean, we obviously talked about Becky Lynch before, and obviously mentioned Alexa Bliss as a potential challenger as well. Obviously, with Nikki Cross having her first singles run, who do you who do you put her with that keeps Nikki strong and also puts over her opponents?
Well, just a little statistics thanks to Sarah that she sent it to us in our little private chat that we have with all of us.
Hmm.
Charlotte Flair has lost her title due to cash.
Yeah.
She lost it to Carmella. She's lost it to who was it? The other person. She lost it to Bailey. Bailey,
of course.
yeah, 2018, and then now she just lost it to Nikki Cross. So her enemy is the briefcase. So let's just say that. Like I was like saying, like I'm hoping that she has a long reign. A lot of people thinking she's going to be a transitional champion. They'll give it to Charlotte again because then that's when Becky comes back. I'm not speculating anymore because Becky likes to be a freaking troll. So I'll just wait until. Yeah, no, she's been trolling since she already gave birth. So I'm like, you know what? I ain't trying to guess when you're coming in. You know what it is? I'm thinking like when it comes to Becky, she knows that people are going to be they're going to react really well for her. So they're very happy. So they'll be happy once they see her. So
agreed.
So yeah, so I mean like they could just do like a one-on-one match between her and Charlotte. I mean they could easily do that, and then Nikki A.S.H faces somebody else. Like they could do like a little like number one contenders match.
Yeah.
I mean, they could easily do that. Hopefully, they do that. For me, I have a feeling that it would probably be the fall like rivalry of Nikki A.S.H and Alexa Bliss versus Eva Marie and Piper Niven. I could see those four.
D-drop.
I'm not saying that. Yeah. Anyways,
she's like a human Pokemon. That's the saddest part about Piper Niven. It's just.
But you get what I mean. Like I could see because like look, Eva Marie has like the heat. She has organic heat. So it'd be smart for them to have her be in the title picture, which people are like, she don't deserve it. But it's like, and then Nikki A.S.H is here. She'll get like the biggest cheers. She'll be like the kind of like the Lex Luthor to the Superman type of like superhero versus supervillain kind of thing, So I mean,
I can totally see it. And again, Alexa Bliss was hot favorite to win Money in the Bank. She certainly had her moment that she could have won it. But of course, Bliss cross applesauce. The story is already there for the superhero to take down the Gothic villain. So it's certainly all written out and laid out.
I mean, you could build that too. Is it's like then those two as foes again, and then now their characters have changed, and then they can face each other. Maybe Survivor Series coming up, or maybe at the end of the year, to Royal Rumble, maybe. So I mean, like if they decide to not use the title for the main one, which is probably Charlotte, Rhea, and Becky, because I'm feeling like those three ladies are going to be feuding with each other. So they don't really need a title, which I like. That will be an additional women's feud, which I hope that will happen. They need at least a women's feud that does not require a title.
Yeah. We'll see that for sure. Some other WWE headlines, because certainly the last 48 hours have not been overwhelming enough. Of course, fans were back on Friday night SmackDown. We got to see the return of Finn Balor to Friday night SmackDown, back to his old persona, and over 2.3 million people tuned in to watch it. SmackDown's finally back to where it should be.
Oh, and also Raw, because they just put out the rating. They were at 1.9 million. So they went up.
More like it.
Yeah, so they're almost to 200. Yeah,
shows doing disastrously, like nearly less than 1 million. But now they've got the numbers back in.
Yeah. Look, there's a lot of questionable things, but there's some pieces that are actually being added. It's probably going to at least help out. So I'm happy the fans are back. I'm happy Finn is back on SmackDown. Hopefully, maybe he'll face Roman Reigns. Because they need to have somebody else to feud after John Cena. I don't know who. They have to feed Roman Reigns somebody, so I could see Finn Balor. I don't know who else. So we'll have to see. So
we'll wait and see what happens. But certainly, one thing we are waiting for is obviously this Friday in Cleveland and in Miami for Rolling Loud, and they could quite easily pull off a few returns here and there. to incorporate with the festival, and certainly with the return of Tony Storm is one.
Well, the debut of Tony Storm. She's never
Debut
been.
return, WWE canon.
Yeah, the return is going to happen with Sasha Banks. I can feel it. Sasha Banks is
Yeah.
coming back. Watch.
Yeah. Seeing the legit boss back in the fold will certainly be one to see. One woman who is unsure about her place in the company, though, is Nia Jax, our famous "My Hole" meme. Of course, the former Raw Women's Champion, current Women's Tag Team Champion. I mean, Nia Jax has been there for years, and now she could be going out the door. And considering how much of a commodity she is, I think AEW will be willing to take her as soon as she walks out the door.
Maybe I could maybe see her maybe in maybe I would love to see her in Impact to see her versus Havoc.
Hmm.
You know, to me, I just like to see big girls fight. So yeah, so but you know what it is. Maybe it's just like maybe she's just stressed out. Maybe she needs a break. I mean, she's done so much and they just. But it doesn't seem like she's breaking up from Shayna, thank God. So I'm thinking they're still going to be as a tag team, which is good. So, it's just that they just need something fresh, honestly. Like, I like her look that she had on Raw, this past Raw. Like, I like the curls that she was wearing and the new, like, ring gear. So I'm just hoping for the best. We'll see.
That's all we can do, and certainly if she does to leave, that will certainly be a huge surprise in the rumbling names that do walk the door. But WWE have pulled a few surprises under our noses. Of course, even today, WWEshop.com has released more Braun Strowman merch, even though they did fire him less than 6 weeks ago. So
there was
never know.
Well, there's a correction there. That was old merch it was supposed to be new, like earlier this year. They forgot to take it out, or people were ordering them and then they're shipping it out. So,
Hey,
I mean, you never know. I think Braun Strowman creating.
You never know. You never
Yeah,
know.
exactly. Yeah, you never know. He may come back. You never know. So we'll see. We shall see.
One other thing I saw on WWE social media, they're comparing the return of John Cena on Money in the Bank as the summer of Cena. 10 years since Summer of Punk. Now we have Summer of Cena. That made me smile a bit. I don't know about you, Orlando.
Well, no, I mean, like to me, it's just like they're just kind of saying like, oh, John Cena's gonna probably be in your city, so that way they can sell more tickets. Be like, oh, you think he's gonna be on Raw? You think he's gonna be on SmackDown? Maybe he'll be on a house show. Go ahead and find out. Come to our show live. It's baiting the fans. It's baiting the fans. So like kids would be like, "Mommy, Daddy, let's go to Raw or SmackDown. I want to see John Cena," and then they'll get disappointed that he's not there.
Although the thought of John Cena going through what the Summer of Punk was does make me wonder what would happen. Like forget his filming schedule, just have him run all the way through to Survivor Series to get a title and call that a summer. Yeah, go on then. I'd be down for John Cena losing consistently.
Yeah. Well, the reports are saying like his next movie schedule is not going to affect his run with WWE. So
yeah. You never know. And finally, to wrap up the Chop Shop this week, WWE are in search of a new ring announcer. They have released a TikTok competition for new ring announcers, and they've done a few videos which you can duet and stitch and do all the things, and be in with a chance of announcing them in Vegas. Orlando, you're going to be submitting an entry?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have the voice for it. I mean, I'll do a TikTok and then just because I have a TikTok account and then I just like do a duo and then just add it on my thing. So check me out on my TikTok. It's Orlando Rigo. So go ahead and follow me and see if I do like a little TikTok with WWE.
I mean, it's a funny one how WWE have really embraced TikTok. Of course, we've got the amazing TikTok professor who does the incredible entrances. I'm trying to think of his name now.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. But it's interesting that they're doing this now, where they kind of released a few people that were doing TikTok. Just saying.
I mean, that they're getting the social media presence, and with a competition like this,
Of course.
I think we'll put submissions through. If it gets anywhere, hey, I'll never forget the Buckabomb Entertainment podcast. That's certainly guaranteed. That wraps it up for the Shop this week. Feel free to like, subscribe, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We'd really appreciate it. My thanks, of course, to Orlando and Daniel McKee, who did join us as he was having his hair done. We'll join you next week for another episode of The Chop Shop.
Bye, everybody.